everyone, welcome back to our comparative analysis and strategy class. In this session, we will talk about something that is quite interesting, a globalized world. Okay, I'm guessing that by now you have heard about this concept, and of course it's quite peculiar, but at least for the marketing and the business environment, it's extremely relevant. Okay, because nowadays, even though that you can do like very multinational strategies, you also need to know that if you want to tackle, if you want to enter to specific countries, well, definitely you need to adapt yourself and of course know what things could be standardized by the company and others that actually need to be modified. Okay, so the first thing that we would like to go with is actually this importance, no? Thinking about a globalized world. Okay, we really have to go deep into this because it's something that it's impacting not just a single business, a single economy, but almost everyone. Okay, for that we have to go quickly with the definition, and we can see here that globalization could be conceived as a way of how we trade not just economical goods but also technology. Okay, and of course has created a connected place. It captures economical, social changes. That's a very intriguing aspect. Okay, because it's not just economical but also the other elements that are implicated. For that, we have to definitely go deeply with what's culture. Okay, here we can define it as the customer beliefs, social forms, material traits, religious, a lot of things. Okay, sometimes when we have this argument, we might get into a topic that it's quite deep, no, and difficult to define. But at least for us, we need to know about cultures because that could be the element that will define your success or failure. Okay, another thing is that culture by itself, okay, can be implicated not just in a social cultural aspect but also how are you going to work specifically with other elements. Just imagine marketing, just imagine the advertising that you will be using. And for that, we also got something that is known as cultural diversity. Okay, nowadays we're seeing companies, or more importantly, we're seeing countries that they are working with different cultures at the same time. A very important and relevant example is actually the US and Canada, in which if you check the statistics, the majority of the populations are immigrants or people that aren't born there. They weren't born there. Okay, so that brings something that is called a multiculturalism. Okay, and the thing here is that they need to know how to work together even though that they have differences, and at the end they need to see this as an advantage rather than a difficulty. Another thing is actually the global culture. Okay, even though that we have said that each country, each region has its own culture, now with all the technology and all the globalization, we have to also consider ourselves a global citizen. And for that we can see that we have a whole combination. Okay, now we're consuming from almost every part of the world, and of course that nowadays you're just one click ahead of getting almost a product from another part of the world. Okay, so here we can see another interesting fact, which is the advantages and disadvantages of globalization. Okay, first of all, we can go with growth. Okay, the first direct investment that other countries are investing in your country definitely increases the employment rate. It might also create the awareness that you could be competing in other parts of the world even if you're not moving, so that might increase salary and compensations. Also the high level of living, the standards, no, of quality in this case, the mutual understanding across cultures, and of course the economic growth. Remember that the economic growth is something that must be impacting others. And of course, the disadvantage of globalization. Well, there could be instability, okay, and that's because if you are depending from another culture or another country, well, that could be an impact. Another one, the environmental damage, well, because there are different regulations from different parts of the world, but at the end, we need to have like a very standardized aspect, and of course, the economic recessions. And for that, definitely we could have problems in this part of the economical and political aspect, how it's impacting that. Maybe if we trade with another country and that country is not going pretty well, how it's going to impact us, of course, in supplies and raw materials that we require. And also, we have to be getting deeper into this concept, because sometimes due to globalization we fall into these two concepts, which is the cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation. Okay, and for both things we have to understand, the cultural appropriation by itself, okay, involves in taking elements first, they aren't from your culture, and you're using it incorrectly, you're using it without an approval, and of course it's creating a bad image. Okay, careful, because if you don't respect a culture right now, with all this part of the viral community and the viral content, you could provide a bad image. Certain countries and companies are been using this in a very superficial way. They don't take the time to analyze it, and that caused anger. Okay, and what is the country of the appropriation? It's actually the appreciation. Okay, for that, you respect the culture, you know the traditions, you know the meaning, and you request for approval when time is needed. Okay, so be careful about that, because that could be something that you might be falling unconsciously, and it could have a bad impact in your business and of course your projects if you decide to move abroad. So in general, I would say that globalization has caused different points of view. Some people agree, others disagree. I mean, the thing here is that you get this critical analysis and you evaluate yourself how globalization is impacting your company, your life, your daily life, and of course, if you somehow are preserving your own culture. Again, there's nothing wrong in learning or maybe in acquiring elements from another culture, but try not to lose the scope and do not lose yourself while also getting into the knowledge of your own culture. I mean, it's important to know about others, but of course to know about yours. Okay, so thank you for hearing me, and of course remember that if you have any question or doubt, do not hesitate to contact me via email or using Brightspace. Thank you very much and have an excellent day. Bye bye.